talking for a while about the possibility of, the fact that we get, our very own social credit system, like what China has right here in the United States. And guess who's pushing for this right now? But the World Economic Forum, working with people, interestingly, who've created systems like this for the Chinese Communist Party. Let me show you this, folks. This is Zero Hedge reporting. They're saying this. This is Zero Hedge. Davos, again, the World Economic Forum, that's where they're having the meeting in Davos, Switzerland. Davos revealed building blocks for green social credit system. Green energy seems to be the vehicle they're riding on to bring forward all these communist policies. Remember also, in the United States now, we now have an Office of Environmental Justice under the Health Department that's going to be using the excuse of environmental justice to create new protocols for the country. And when they talk about environmental justice, they don't mean, hey, recycle, reduce, reuse. They don't mean, maybe a push for electric cars. They mean things like racial justice and equity under the guise of a green movement. Say, for example, that people are of the environment, so race and equity and socioeconomics is somehow part of a green agenda. Green now, again, environmentalism, is the vehicle on which all of these policies are riding in order to institute the same types of policies they have in China, under the Chinese Communist Party. And this is a clear example of this, in addition to what we've talked about before. It says this week, this article from Zero Hedge, during one of WEF's, World Economic Forum's, live streaming panels, Alibaba Holdings president, Alibaba, Chinese equivalent of Amazon, the president, Michael Evans, claimed that the company is working on an app that could track an individual using carbon footprint. So this is not, again, Communist Party monitoring. They're just trying to find out what your carbon footprint is. They're trying to find out whether you're a good citizen or bad citizen based on how closely you follow green protocols. And green protocols in the U.S. now is a loaded term because, again, it even ties to equity, racial justice, socioeconomics, and anything they could use to justify a communist or socialist system. That's the vehicle they're riding on, and here is the tracking system to see whether you are following it. It says this, this is a quote, "We're developing through technology an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint." What does that mean? That's where they are traveling, where they are traveling, how they are traveling, what they're eating. Maybe you're not eating bugs, for example. What they are consuming on our platform. So, an individual carbon footprint tracker. Do you eat meat? Do you drive a gas car or an electric vehicle? Are you participating in all the programs through socioeconomics and pushing towards equity to fight against racial injustice, which is also an environmental problem, according to the new office they just established on this, the Office of Environmental Justice? Are you following all these programs, comrade? Well, an app on your phone may soon be able to track that, and that app, as it is used, it's apps like this are used in China, could create, again, a social credit score for you, which could be used in many different ways. Maybe you'll get social benefits like people do in China, or maybe you'll lose some of your freedoms like people do in China under Communist Party companies like Alibaba that is announcing this right now at the World Economic Forum. Now it continues. Now to clarify, Evans was only talking about Alibaba's platform, but that's a big platform, as Zero Hedge notes. And while we've been focusing on the individual carbon footprint trackers, something else Evans says later on in the panel is just interesting. And he says this, the third thing we call is this green travel, they're saying. So we have ways within our business, something called AMAP, a mapping, think Google Maps or Waze, plus travel destination business. So what we're doing to allow people to do is this. First of all, calculate the best and most effective route and also the most efficient form of transportation. And then if they take advantage of those recommendations, we'll give them bonus points, which they can redeem elsewhere on our platform. So they are incentivized to do the right thing, even when they're provided with the opportunity to do the wrong thing. So, comrades, do you do the right thing or do you do the wrong thing for your own incentives? Do you disincentivize yourself? Do you take the harder path to serve the party's interests? Or do you take the one that, again, will get you a better social score under the system to track you on whether you're following their different protocols? Now, it seems Alibaba currently has apps either being used or in development that, one, monitor travel routes and methods and rewards users for making the correct quote-unquote choice, contracted individuals' carbon footprint, including what they eat, and where users have earned points for Earth-friendly habits. Now, again, the concern with this is several-fold. One of the big ones being the, again, type of social monitoring programs the Chinese Communist Party uses, which is, again, the social credit system, which monitors everything you do, every purchase you make, everything you do, every person you're friends with, every connection you have, your family members, and measures all of these together and gives you a score. That score works as like your bank score, like your credit score. Only this is a score determining on how closely you follow government regulations. Do you follow the party or do you go against the party? A high score means you get benefits like what Alibaba's talking about. A low score means that maybe, you lose your basic freedoms. You can't rent bikes, you can't take cars, you can't travel. Maybe you get thrown in the gulag, right? In China, it's like this already. In addition to that, the other big thing that they are doing in China and that they're now trying to roll out internationally is the creation of a new banking system, which is the digital currencies, CBDCs, centralized banking digital currencies. This basically means the bank can approve or deny any purchase you make. Everything is regulated, including all purchases, and everything you spend money on is monitored. Now, keep in mind that even the banks right here in the United States, they've already, as we speak, they have canceled people for political reasons because they go against, social, politically correct policies. Not because they did anything illegal in these countries, in the United States even, but because they go against the social justice narratives. There are banks that have already canceled people's credit cards doing this. And now they want to create an additional system. They've talked about it publicly to create credit scores that measure, for example, your internet activity. Maybe if you watch Crossroads, you get a lower score if they're able to roll this out because they don't like us. Already they are doing this. Already they are talking about this, and already they're putting in place the technologies to be able to enhance their abilities to do this. And so this is something very important to watch, and this is something they're pushing for right now. And folks, I'll be giving you more coverage on this as we go forward.